What's going on, fellow wanderer? This is Yoland here. Today I actually just wanted to show you guys my build. It's been carrying me through the last 25 to 25 levels. I don't want to make it such a huge video. There's a lot to go over. I do explain more of my legendary powers in the video before. I'll put a link in the description. That way you guys can go ahead and check that out. I don't want to overdo it. It'll be a lot of information if I go through every single piece of gear. The other one shows the legendary powers that I'm using. This one I'll just go over the abilities, or my skills, and Paragon board. So, I do want to show you guys just real quick, in case you missed the video as well, where I go over and one-shot the elites. I do want to go over, let me show you guys an example of the build that we're working with here. I am not saying that this build is the best build in the game. It's something that I just started working with and that I love a lot, and I just love seeing things shatter. So, if you love seeing everything freeze on your screen and shattering, this might be the build for you. So, we got a boss down there. This build really does work a lot better when you have a lot of elites. However, the density is whatever. So, barrier, teleport, in, and then that's it. That's all you do. And then they're dead. They were only 8 levels above me. Or, sorry, 8. What am I? 5 levels above me. And 10 levels above, it's the same thing. You're gonna see the same damage, so. Time to go over the skill tree. I'll put videos, I'll make videos as well, pushing up tier keys so you can see the build, doing higher keys, but, just trust me, when you get to plus 10 keys and up, it's still the same amount of damage. So, for our abilities, it's basically a cookie cutter build. There's not too much to it. Once you have the gear that gives you more resource generation or resource reduction for your skills, you can get rid of Frostbolt. I like having Frostbolt because it does a ton of stagger to the boss. I'm able to 2 to 3 shot the bosses whenever they're staggered. And for those of you that don't know, whenever you want to stagger a boss like really quick, teleport in, Frost Nova, gets them at least almost 40% stagger. Then you just keep hitting them with Frostbolt over and over again, and then repeat, and then they stagger. You shoot your Icicles at least 2 to 3 times, and they're basically dead. So for a Frostbolt, until I get better gear, again, like I said, for resource generation or whatever, I will be keeping Frostbolt as a skill. So definitely Frostbolt, Enhanced Frostbolt, and Glinting Frostbolt, so you get the mana back. This one, we don't really care about too much, right? But definitely the mana back for the bosses or just in general. When you get to those points where you're not getting your lucky hits, because of the lower mob density, your mana will suffer a little bit, but again, depends on your gear. Definitely max out your ice shards. Get your enhanced ice shards, that way they can ricochet off of present targets. And then definitely you want the vulnerable one, destructive ice shards. You want to make everything vulnerable. Whether it's your ice shards or your Frost Nova. We also want devastation, increase your mana by 3, but then we also want your core skills deal 9% increased damage when you cast above 50 mana. With the stats I have right now, I am able to at least be at about 50 to a little bit above, so it works great. Flame Shield is your oh shit button. You're in a place where things are going to explode, you don't have teleport or dodge. Flame Shield is definitely going to save you. Teleport. Teleporting, because of our legendary chest piece that we have, or unique ancestral, whenever we teleport in, we bring the mobs together and we stun them. Definitely reduce the cooldown on it whenever we hit per enemy up to 3 seconds. We're always going to hit that. So you'll always have a low cooldown on teleport. And then after teleporting, getting 30% damage reduction for 3 seconds. We definitely want that shield because I have the legendary. Whenever I have a shield up, it increases my damage by, I think, 36% damage. So you should always constantly be having a shield up. Glass Cannon. Because of the items I have, my Glass Cannon is actually ranked 7, which is why I'm also doing a lot of damage. Again, we're taking 21% damage, but because of our Paragon points that we have, it kind of nulls it. Definitely Ice Armors for a must. Enhanced ice armor, that way we can get our mana back, just in case if we ever are for those rare occasions. Frost Nova is at 9 because of gear that I have. Again, it lowers the cooldown, which is really big for us. Our Frost Nova is pretty much our bread and butter. Lowers the cooldown as well whenever we kill an enemy frozen by Frost Nova, reduces cooldown by 1 second up to 4 seconds. I don't think they stack with the legendary pants. That makes it so whenever something freezes, so when enemies die while frozen, have a 20% chance to unleash a Frost Nova. I don't believe that stacks. I think it has to actually be from your skill, or else I would just be Frost Novaing like crazy. Definitely that, and then of course makes them vulnerable for 6 seconds. That way we're getting that vulnerable damage on them. Next we go down to our conjuration skills. Precision magic, our lucky hit chance. Really need that. Don't know what more to tell you. We just need it. More on the defensive side, line the elements. You'll take that reduced damage, stacking up to 40%. Mana shield, we're going to always be spending that 100% mana, especially with the build that I'm running without, those mana generators, but you'll take 10% reduced damage for 5 seconds. Definitely protection, you get a barrier again whenever you use a cooldown, so that just adds more to your barrier, because again, with this build, we are pretty squishy. Mastery. So because of the lower mob density, I decided to go to Snap Freeze. I just want more chances to freeze enemies, and this is up to a 9% chance. I have Frostburn, unlucky hit, they can freeze, has a 24% chance, but I just want to always be freezing things. And for the ultimate, you definitely want this whole bracket filled out. Frost skills deal 50% increased damage against elites. You deal 20% increased damage to vulnerable. Frigid Breeze, you get mana back as you hit vulnerable. Again, everything's vulnerable, so you have that chance on lucky hit. Or Frost, you deal 9% increased damage to chilled enemies and 18% increased damage to frozen enemies. Now, chilled, if you guys don't know, chilled enemies, frozen enemies are always chilled, so you're always going to get that 9% on top of that 18%. I have one in Fiery Surge. Killing a burning enemy increases your mana regeneration. I'm still playing around with it. We'll see if I take it out and just put it in something else. Again, I'm not really sure. We'll see. I'm still playing around with the build. And definitely the last thing that I need is Avalanche. I want to be able to, cast those icicles as much as I can. Your frost skills have up to a 10% chance to make your next cast of ice shards, frozen or blizzard consume no mana, and deal 40% increased damage. Chances double against vulnerable enemies, and again, everything's vulnerable, so we can have that proccing like crazy. Again, it's a pretty simple build. There's not too much going with it. Again, I'm not saying it's the best build, the most perfect build. It's something that I just keep constantly working on. But yeah, I am able to one-shot the elites. Paragon board. This is where it's going to get a little bit longer. I'll try to make it as quick as possible. I don't want to waste your guys' time. Definitely the non-physical damage one is a huge help for your node. It's the basic one that you get. The resistances are, whatever. For resistances, oh, I need one here. Huh. Oh, I'm missing that's weird. I guess when I was playing around, I must have missed one. We'll just take it off of this. Sorry about that, guys. As you can see, make a ton of mistakes. Oh, intelligence. Whoops. My bad. I need to read. Okay. So definitely for your first glyph, you want Elementalist. Yeah, sorry. I don't know what happened there. You get that extra non-physical damage, and then you get more increased damage, dealing fire, cold, lightning. So you're always doing fire from burning. Oh, that's what I forgot to show you guys. Sorry, the enchantments. You're always doing cold damage and your lightning damage whenever you teleport in. So it's all going to increase your damage to them by 5% for 10 seconds, stacking once per element. So you can increase your damage by 15% by what I did there, teleporting in. Whenever they get hit, they'll get burned, and then your cold damage. Real quick, the enchantment slot. So definitely need Firebolt. Whenever you deal any type of damage, it's going to always burn them, especially with the Paragon board that we have, the nodes. We need things to be burning in order to take reduced damage. And the biggest thing that's going to up our damage is the Ice Shards enchantment. Ice Shards automatically conjure and fly towards frozen enemies. And just real quick, just remind you guys, Frostburn, the other ability that we have, Snap Freeze, the 9% chance to freeze, all going to add up. Everything's going to be frozen. You're just going to see your icicles just start wailing on mobs. Okay, back to the Paragon. So, I like getting the non-physical damage one because, again, there's a whole thing with resistance going on where resistances aren't that great for you. So I'd rather just have the base non-physical damage. The next legendary board we're going to do is Frigid Fate. Excuse me. So 20% vulnerable damage. Again, everything's vulnerable. We're going to be doing that increased damage. Get all the little magic nodes there. We'll get our glyph in this one. Exploit. Exploit is dealing damage to vulnerable enemies. Increase the damage by 1% for 6 seconds, up to 10%. So you'll get that 10% increase bonus. Our nodes up here is just so we can get the dexterity. That way we can get our additional bonus. Anything else would just be a waste of points. We go to the left, we'll get weakness, 20% vulnerable damage with another 10% vulnerable damage. So once you get those nodes, you'll head on over to the left, go down, and you'll get this one, guarded. 8% damage reduction from vulnerable enemies. Again, everything's vulnerable. You get another 4% damage reduction from vulnerable enemies. So even if they're not frozen, when you hit them with ice shards, they're just going to do less damage to you. On top of the burning, do less damage too. So next board is going to be, what's this one called? Burning Instinct. Burning Instinct, the main thing that I wanted from here was the damage reduction from the elite. 13% damage reduction from elites, and then again, you get those added magic node bonuses on there. You definitely want to get the 20% damage to burning elites, which makes it so, again, just right there, you do that much more damage to elites that are burning. And everything's always burning. 45% damage to burning enemies. And on top of that, it's 18% damage reduction. So the biggest glyph that you want right here is going to be Tactician. That way you can get the most out of it. You'll get the most burning, you'll get the most damage out of it, and the most damage reduction out of it. So if I take it out, I'm at 8% damage reduction, 20% damage to burning. But when I put it in here, it now becomes 18% and 45% extra damage. So it's a huge, don't waste this glyph. You definitely want it in the right place. Then we'll go up to the next board, which is Icefall. This is where it gets a little bit different from, like Paxtrol and everything, because I'm not using Conjure. I'm not using, basically Conjure. And I'm not a fan of the other one that they used either. Again, I'm going just for pure damage. The defenses, you'll get the defenses, but I definitely want to put as much points as I can into damage. So you rotate the board, so the glyph's up top here. You definitely want to go in, and the biggest thing I wanted from the node was cryomancy. 20% cold damage, another 10%. That's 30% extra cold damage we're doing. On top of the other ones right there, or the magic nodes, 5%, 5%, 5%. Then we'll go up. I don't know why I have that there. I could probably take that off after and move it here. Up again. I was redoing the build as well at like 1 o'clock in the morning the other day, so I can redo it. But anyways, the main node you want to get, or what you want to get, is your glyph, and that's what you want: Destruction. Critical strikes increase all damage for the enemy you take by up to 2% in 10 seconds. It doesn't add anything to your actual nodes besides for every fire dexterity person within the range skill core, you get 9.5 increased critical strike damage, which is big, but at the same time, I think the other nodes are better. So once you get there, you'll move to the left again to your board. This one is Searing Heat, and I want Searing Heat for 4% damage reduction from enemies. I don't have the additional 4%, but having the other nodes that give you 2% each is huge. Going left again, get that other glyph. This one we're going to get Flame Feeder. So for every fire dexterity person within range, you deal 7.5 increased damage to burning targets. Again, everything's burning. We get this just so we can get the extra dexterity and the point there, so we're not wasting points going to like a dexterity up there and then backtracking it. And then getting the dexterity here as well. And then the last and final board is going to be Ceaseless Conduit. The reason I picked Ceaseless Conduit, even though nothing really is great for us except for maybe the plus intelligence or that's really it, but nothing else that I saw seemed that great, and we're really just doing it for the last glyph, which is for control. So we'll do more damage in our crowd control. So we're going to be doing even more damage to the elites later on. Um, and again, you'll go the quickest route there. You'll go down to the rare galvanic, butchering it, galvanic catalyst, just so you can get the dexterity points. That way you can get the max dexterity to get the second requirement. So after all that's said and done, I think I do have a few more nodes after that that I can spare with. And what I would want is to go back to the Icefall legendary node, or the Icefall Paragon board, and get the other one where I do 30% damage to chilled enemies. And again, anything that's frozen is chilled. So that's even more damage later on during the Paragon board. But I do have to wait, and I have to see how many Paragon skills I have, how many Paragon points I have left. I'm level 93. Can't do the math right now, but yeah. Anyways, hope this was informative. Again, I didn't want the video to be too long. Just because there's not too much to go over as far as the board goes, but once you start messing around with it, you'll see that it's not too crazy. It's not too overwhelming. But you definitely want to have your six glyphs. 3, 4, 5, 6. Because overall that damage is going to be more to overall damage than it would be if I were to put more in here and then get 30% damage to chilled. So, anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. If there's any other questions, just let me know. I'll be posting more videos of me going through keys, possibly doing PvP videos, seeing how this build does there. And yeah, and if there's anything I forgot, please let me know in the comments section. Yeah, hope you guys enjoy the game. All right, see ya.